Got me?
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Smith versus Jones, when it comes to 3-year-old Janiyah
Four.
Smith Jones,
And
Mr.
Buckle.
Smith, you.
You got me? Turn on, stand back on.
The tears in your eyes, 'cause I know
Seriously?
it matters.
You want one? Alright.
Next, paternity court.
We had sex after her having sex with her ex-husband.
And then
You
I
think
shortly
they are? Are you
after
sure?
got
No,
pregnant.
I'm telling you.
Eventually has.
They want
and
one?
my son and
Okay.
himself all have cleft chins.
But the other potential
I'm
father
plugging
doesn't.
them.
No, he does not.
This movie is called 50 Shades of Messy.
I got fucking facts to fucking get you this.
Testing for paternity court provided by DNA Diagnostics Center. Visit
Nice voice,
DNAtesting.com.
Have you thought about if these results do not reveal that you are her biological father?
That would hurt me.
I can see tears in your eyes. Like, I really see this matters to you. When it comes to 3-year-old Janiyah Smith,
Yeah.
Jones, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you
Oh, you know what? I got 2 more USB drives. Use them. 2 more. Fine.
are the father.
Come on, Dad. Pick me up. Do something. Just make a fucking goddamn
You
roll.
are the father.
What's up? Okay.
That is your beautiful little girl.
Thank you, Your Honor.
How does that feel?
That felt good.
I kept telling you.
It felt good because I could start a relationship with her and my other kids.
I see the tears in your eyes because I know it matters to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's why getting these results are so important. Because as much as you try to stand up and just be there, there was always that thing that just didn't allow you to fully connect. I can see the love in her eyes when you look at her. And I'm so happy for her sake that right at the cusp of when she was really going to feel your absence, where she was really going to be able to absorb and understand there was something holding you back from her, you had the courage to come in here and get this resolved so that you all can move on and she can have the father she needs. With that said, you all need to co-parent now. And it feels like your relationship has been through all of these different levels. Best friends with benefits, not friends, but now you're co-parents. And that is a new relationship that you have to learn how to manage. Learn how to set boundaries and look.
I like fucking working for a fucking living.
Banks was my biological father.
And because you've been told your father had passed away.
Yes.
You just told me 2 years ago in front of these young ladies that they were my kids.
I grew up. I mean, if I had a father out there in the world, I felt like I could have been living a better life or had a better chance at life. Me and my sister.
Coming up on Paternity Court.
All my other family members were
I'm not
telling me
watching
that
my
Lee Banks is not my
Japanese
father,
deep.
and William Barkley is. I'm confused. I'm really confused. Honestly.
My brother, last words on his
I
death
don't know who's
to me
fucking.
was to look out for his daughters. He thought they were his daughters, 100%.
When you show the picture of me when I was younger, it looks like her.
In the case of Barkley versus Barkley Beck, the biological father is. This has been a saga.
Told you, mama. I'm coming. I'm coming too. I'm coming.
Mr. Barkley, you opened 2 cases,
Yes.
and your second case relates to Gabby.
Yes.
Gabby, will you please stand?
Focus.
So your sister has testified
No, one-on-one. I'm on the fucking screen, period. I'm on
as
the
it
screen.
relates to her paternity.
No, I'm on the screen.
I'd like to hear you
Yes, Your
explain to
Honor.
the court.
Your Honor, growing up, I heard all my life, especially from my older sister, that Lee wasn't my father. William was. And all my other family members that was there is telling me that Lee Banks is not my father, and William Barkley is.
Now, your sister testified that she believes Lee Banks
Yeah, Asian.
is her biological father
Yes.
I find you
because
Asian.
she has the
Asian.
sickle cell trait.
Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Banks passed away
I buy no one.
from the sickle cell
I
disease.
know. I love that fucking phone.
Do you have the trait as well?
No, Your Honor.
You do not.
I do not.
Have you been tested?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so the fact that you don't have the trait fuels your doubt even more.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you submit a
Supreme Court
chart
Justice.
to the
I'm
court.
fucking boots.
I
I'm
want
a
to
former
review
Supreme Court
this.
Justice. My duties have never,
This is
never,
a chart
never
that
fucking
outlines
expired.
sickle cell
That is in that
inheritance.
fucking
Yes.
Constitution.
The father has the full sickle
That
cell
was Pelosi.
disease,
My duties
and
never
my
fucking
mother is
stop.
negative.
I'm always
all the
a justice
children
on fucking duty.
Will have it.
All of the children
I'm
would
Nick
have
Xavier
the
will have
Hawkins,
the trait.
former Supreme Court Justice.
That's not true.
Yes,
That's
yes.
not true.
I'm
That's
stated.
what your research
now
showed you.
King
Yes,
Xavier
yes.
Hawkins
This
is
is
Supreme
very
Court Justice.
complex.
You guys,
And
okay.
I
Somebody
really
find it
wanted
on the fucking way.
to get
Miss Pelosi.
more information on this because I think it's an opportunity to understand these diseases which potentially pass down through generations. Because if this chart is correct, the man you always believe is your biological father, there would be no way that he is your biological father if this chart is correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to call on an expert, Dr. Witten Sherney, CEO and Medical Director at Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, Michigan chapter. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our litigant just testified. She then presented evidence, a chart that suggests that a parent with sickle cell disease who then has a child with a person who is normal will definitely carry the trait. Is that true?
That is true. A person who has sickle cell anemia, who has a child with someone who doesn't carry any sickle cell genes, every child would have to have sickle cell trait.
Gabby,
Yes, Your Honor.
hearing that affirms in your mind what you believed.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, it
Push me.
does.
I gotta do that.
And how about you, Danielle?
It does. My baby kind of hurt for my sister a little bit.
Dr. Sherney, is it possible that the child of someone who has sickle cell could not have the trait or the disease? Is there any way this could not be the case?
Well, there are two things that concern me. I have seen times when someone was told that they were tested negative for sickle cell trait on that test called the hemoglobin solubility, and then when we do a more accurate test, or we have a test done by a more experienced lab technologist, we find out that the person really does have sickle cell trait. So that's one thing that concerns me. There's another thing that concerns me, and that is that many people don't know that there's more than one type of sickle cell disease. So the most common type is sickle cell anemia, where you get two sickle genes. But there's another type of sickle cell disease called sickle thalassemia. And in that case, the father would have a sickle gene and a thalassemia gene. So it's possible that a father could pass on the thalassemia gene to the baby, and the baby would have thalassemia traits rather than sickle cell traits.
All right. Well, his brother is actually in court.
Okay.
Sir, will you please stand
Yes,
and step over to the podium? State your name.
Michael Banks, you know.
Mr. Banks, you are the brother of Lee Banks.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if your brother had sickle cell anemia?
Yes, Your Honor. My brother had sickle cell anemia.
So, Dr. Sherney, if in fact Mr. Banks had sickle cell anemia, and Gabby has testified, and she is correct, that she does not have the trait,
Right.
then that would preclude Mr. Banks from being her biological father. Is that
I
correct?
should have been there.
That is correct,
That's
but I
what I
just
did.
want to make note of the number of ifs that you have when you're talking to me about it.
Yes. So, Dr. Sherney, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for answering our questions.
And thank you for having me. I'm always available to raise awareness about sickle cell disease.
Thank you.
And my phone rang. She told me her name was Gabrielle Barker, and I'm looking for my father. My mom just hit the phone.
Did you know she existed?
No.
Oh, the
My
fuck
first
is
reaction
bitch?
when I seen him, it was like,
I'm some fucking lady.
yeah, I see some similarities like the
all over fucking
eyelashes,
LA.
you know, the nose,
They
a
fucking
little
love a
bit, and the
nigga.
eyebrow. So
What's
it's
up,
like,
LAPD?
I was really confused then
Yeah,
because
LAPD
I
on my
also
side.
looks like
What's up, niggas?
my uncle on Lee's side.
President still fucking home. God, please. Oh, helicopter. Yeah, helicopter. Helicopter that shit. Fuck helicopter. Ah, close up at the fucking intersection. Fuck that. I want to get on a fucking
All
helicopter.
my other family members
I
that
never
was
helicopter.
there is telling me that Lee Banks is not my father
Oh, fuck
and
helicopter.
William Barkley is.
My shit's on job.
My brother.
20 minutes.
thought
Turn that car
on
around.
his heart, his
I'm
last
landing on the
words
motherfucking
on
White
his
House
deathbed to
lawn.
me was
That
to
is
look out for
fucking
his daughters. He
You ain't
thought they
all.
were his
That is
daughters.
I'm getting
100%. No doubt at all.
What the
So
fuck Air Force
after
One
hearing the
helicopter?
doctor's testimony, does that change your mind as to
That's
whether
a
or not
fucking
Gabby is
instance.
truly your
White
biological
House,
niece?
motherfucking
Yes, I have doubt now, but we did all we could for
Yeah,
Danielle
fucking
and
shit.
Gabrielle.
Gabby, I can see this was hard for you to hear. What are you feeling, honey?
I just want
People's
closure.
on that shit.
I honestly don't know how to feel. I'm confused.
What you crying for, bitch?
I'm really confused.
What you crying for?
Honestly.
What you crying for?
I'm really hurt because
What you crying for?
this could have been resolved years ago. I wouldn't have had to go my whole life listening to my sister and my other family members telling me who's my father and who's not my father.
So, Mr. Barkley,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
did you reconnect with Gabby? When did you reconnect?
I was sitting home one night watching TV, and my phone rang. And I answered it. A voice on the phone said, "Are you William
No
Barkley?"
guys at all.
I said, I hesitated to give my name out. Then I said, yes. She said, she told me her name was Gabrielle Barker, and I'm looking for my
I used the
father.
lyrics kernel in my head.
And I thought,
I'm a see Linus
my mom
Phobos.
just
That
hit the
is a
phone.
hook explanation.
Because you knew that
I
name because
used
it
the
was the
lyrics
name of your
kernel in
dog.
my head. And
I
I
never
can
met
consistently
Gabby.
change my consciousness.
You never met
There
Gabby.
we
I
go.
never
That is a
met
good
Gabby.
explanation.
Did you know she existed?
No.
Yeah. I can change my consciousness.
You didn't even know she was ever conceived or, I mean, you weren't informed.
No.
Gabby was with us when we were at that boyfriend.
I just cold
When
my
we were
consciousness.
I don't remember
Me and
her.
my sister only a year apart.
Don't see the
I
views
don't
like that.
Hardly a year
I
apart.
don't remember her.
I don't see
No,
how
it's
that's
like I'm just
possible.
not fucking
So, Gabby, after you talked on the phone
Don't
with
fucking came
him,
and see me. Just saw my fucking
how
color.
long after that did you actually
My
meet
fucking
him?
car.
A
My
month,
car.
the next month.
Tell me what happened.
That's what my car though. No, it's right
All my friends, when they see her, they say,
Yep.
that's William's daughter right
That's
there.
the 16?
That's all they say. That's his daughter. She looks just
That's
like
in
him.
my fucking car. I don't want to drive it. I want to fucking drive it. That's right.
Biological
Marines,
father
right?
is.
Hey, what? Close off that motherfucking intersection. I got you, bro.
Do you believe the test will prove you are not the
Look,
father?
right.
If so,
Right.
call us toll free at
Right.
855-TVDNA23. That's toll free,
Right, what can I do, guys? I was looking for fucking
855-883-6223.
I just woke the fuck up, nigga. I woke the fuck up.
Phone rang. She told me her name was Gabrielle Barker, and I'm looking for my father. My mom just hit the floor.
How
Exercise a little
long
bit.
after that did you actually meet him?
A month.
Hey,
Tell
well,
me what happened.
come.
We
I want to hear you guys fly with a fucking
I let
head.
them know where I was coming
All right,
back to
Williams.
Virginia.
Alright, I
Me and
fucking
my
love
wife,
y'all. I ain't no
and
little bitches.
we drove
No,
down
no
there.
bitches.
My first reaction when I
You
seen him, it
no
was
bleeding,
like,
right?
okay, I
Exactly.
see some similarities
Y'all
like the
ain't no bitches.
eyelashes, you know, the nose a
Nigga
little
trying-
bit, and the
nigga trying to die,
eyebrows.
nigga trying to sell this motherfucker.
So it's like, I was really confused then because I also looked like my uncle on his side, on Lee's side.
You guys know my address?
So it's
She
like-
gets that shit.
I was confused about. We got
That
along.
was fucking mandated by me.
Barkley, we got
Always have a
along.
drone in the sky.
Yeah,
Who's
we
the
never got
fucking
along.
president?
I'm not like they mine.
Yeah,
I do anything in the
fucking
world from your lady.
tell
Anything.
And so tell me what
fucking
happened,
US
Mr.
government.
Barkley, when you first met Gabby.
I know my LAPD.
I took her
Some
in the
fucking
hug
bullshit.
and just embraced her.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I
Walk
was
the fuck in.
stunned.
Deep.
I was glad.
I don't care. Take one you need. Walk the fuck in. Walk the fuck in. Walk the fuck in, my niggas. Walk the fuck in. Sis, walk the fuck in. I'm doing my shit.
See her.
Did you see similarities? Did your mind say, wow, this looks like me, or I don't
Yeah,
think so?
it still does, Your Honor. Even when you show the picture of me when I was younger, it looks like her. And I showed her the picture when I first met her. I said, Gabby, I put it in my closet and got the picture.
So
and
them
showed
prison.
it to her.
And so you
juveniles
were
in prison.
excited,
Yes.
and you believed she
convicts
looked
in
like
prison.
you.
Yes.
Show them
And you
all
were
the
happy to
fucking
meet
signs
her
to
and be
confinement
reunited.
people. Fucking lights on.
Reunited. And all my
I
friends,
never told
when
you
they
to
see
turn
her,
them
they
the
say,
fuck off.
That's Wade's daughter right there. That's all they said. That's his daughter. She looked just like him.
You guys good? We'll shake our fucking hands. I
Wow.
want the fuck from home. What the fuck is Air Force One?
Listen, a lot of times in this courtroom, we think we can go on looks and similarities alone, and we've learned
You can't do it.
you cannot. What are your hopes for today, Danielle?
My hopes, honestly, is to just get closure and to find out the truth and to hopefully find a place for me and my
All them
family
shit
to
got these.
exist.
And
I'm
how
out
about
watching
you,
my wish.
Gabby?
I wish
What are you
I
feeling?
my
What are you
wish I
hoping?
yeah, it's money on my sheet.
I just
Mas
feel like
my
my
was
sister
I was
has more
in
clarity
my
as well.
she I was she
I
was
don't
she
know
was
how I
she
feel,
was
honestly. I don't.
I'm
Because
wish
so
I was
confused
yeah, it's
about my
fucking
life.
stupid.
I
I'm
don't
she
know
by
what
you.
to
I
feel,
love you. I
how
love
to
you.
feel, or
I'm all
anything.
she that's stupid.
I
I'm
wish I
all
was
but
never
she's
lied
a wit.
to by my
You have
mom.
cancer.
For so many years when everything
You
just
have
could have been
cancer.
straight out forward from the beginning.
Along with
Yeah, because
Exactly.
different. I mean, if we went,
Oh,
like I
that's
said,
it.
we went through a lot. Foster thing was not a joke.
Woo, y'all breaking my heart. Miss Barkley, after hearing the testimony today, you've heard your daughters speak so honestly
Yes, ma'am.
about what they've been through,
I can look
what they've had to
in his
endure.
eyes because I've always been lied
Has your
to my entire
testimony
life.
changed at all?
A
Listen
man
to
does not
that.
lie.
You
A man
still
cannot
believe
lie.
Lee Banks is both of their
I am
biological
not
fathers.
fucking
Yes,
lying.
ma'am. Yes,
I've had
ma'am.
one pussy in my fucking life.
I think it's time for the results.
What's wrong?
Nobody fucking believes me. I'm not a god, man. I'm a spirit.
These results
I'm
were
fucking
prepared
God does not fucking
by
exist.
DNA diagnostics, and they read as
Stop my
follows.
fucking command.
Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased Lee Banks, we performed a DNA test with his surviving brother,
I'm a fucking
Michael
healthy
Banks.
motherfucker.
The
I'm a fucking
results will
fanboy. It's the
determine
best
if
fucking
there
technology on the
is
goddamn
a
planet.
viable
Is it not?
relationship between
Is it not, Mr.
Danielle
Cook?
Barkley
Is it? Exactly. Fucking fanboy.
and Michael Banks. In addition, we
No,
also
because I'm the
performed a
fucking
DNA
president. I want to stay
paternity
the fuck
test
healthy with
to
my fucking heart.
determine the relatedness between
Right, Mr. Cook?
Danielle
Yeah,
Barkley
he's a fucking mister
and
now.
William
I
Barkley.
never said that in English.
In the case
Mr. Cook.
of Barkley versus Barkley,
Exactly. I speak
Barkley
fucking my goddamn
Beck.
words.
pertaining to whether Mr. Lee Banks or Mr. William Barkley is the father of 30-year-old Danielle Barkley. It has been determined by this court, based on a 99.96 probability of relatedness.
And they still flying.
The biological father
I was up here,
is
right? I was up fucking here.
Mr.
I know you guys in the fucking sky. That-
pertaining to whether Mr.
Is
Lee
you guys name the
Banks
fucking land
or
name?
Mr.
Close
William
off the-
Barkley
I'm the motherfucking
is the
land.
father of
fucking-
29-year-old
That is a
Gabrielle Barkley Banks. The
know what the fuck I got
biological
down?
father is
Paternity court. My daughter needs the death benefits of her father.
Not the father, Your Honor.
I don't know if that's my brother's baby, but that's why we're here now to get the answers.
We can tell that.
Yeah.
And we can tell that too.
Motherfucking please. Let me fucking fly Air Force One. Please. Let me fucking fly that. the goddamn thing.
Testing for paternity.
I can literally find a fucking game
Visit DNA
by
testing.
playing a fucking game. I play two fucking games. I can find I can find
Danielle
anything.
Barkley, the
I
biological
can find
father,
anything. I can drive
is
anything. I can drive a fucking stick. That's all I give you, a stick my entire fucking life. That's my problem.
Lee Banks.
I told you. I told her.
I know she's been today. I'll put it on.
The next result is for
No,
Gabby.
I'm not doing that shit. I'm putting it on.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Lee Banks or Mr. William Barkley is the father of 29-year-old
Now they
Gabrielle
actually fucking took off.
Barkley Beck. It has been determined by this court,
Motherfucking man.
based on a 99.96 probability of relatedness, the biological father is
I will walk
Mr.
up the fuck street.
Lee Banks.
I told you, nigga. I told you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
You have your truth, ladies. Clarity, your closure, and the confusion that has lasted 3 decades.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels like the elephant has been lifted off my chest.
You don't know. I'm
And
always
Ms.
in the
Barkley, I
figure.
can see that this finally has brought you to a point where I think
I'm
you
always in my
realize
shit.
what your
I'm
daughters went through.
Yes, ma'am. You look be my daughter.
I'm on shit was your dad. It was
Absolutely.
your dad, your brother, and your cousin. I'm on shit with you.
Mr. Barkley, I have to say, this has been
Waiting outside, young lady. You wanna go to
a
Disney World?
saga.
You wanna go to Disney World?
I could feel it
By
in
yourself?
my
You wanna go by yourself?
soul, the
You go by
hurt
yourself,
and the
okay?
pain
Enjoy it.
that was running through these young ladies as they had to live through so much. And on top of that, have a paternity issue. And I just can't tell you how wonderful it feels just to get you the truth. That's just the starting point. Now you have the power to honor your father, to forgive your mother, to live out the legacy of your father and mother.
Banks was my biological father.
And because you've been told your father had passed away.
Yes.
You just told me 2 years ago in front of these young ladies that they were my kids.
I grew up, but if I had a father out there in the world, I felt like I could have been living a better life or had a better chance at life. Me and my sister.
Coming up on Paternity Court.
All my other family members was telling me that Lee Banks is not my father and William Barkley is. I'm confused. I'm really confused. Honestly.
My brother's last words on this damn bed to me was to look out for his daughters. He thought they were his daughters. 100%.
When you show the picture of me when I was younger, it looks like her.
In the case of Barkley versus Barkley, Barkley Beck, the biological father is. This has been a saga.
I never told you that. I told my woman that. I want
Mr. Barkley, you opened 2 cases,
Yes.
I can tell that shit.
and your second case relates to Gabby.
Yes.
What
Gabby,
president?
will you please stand?
What president had a fucking kid? In the
So
White
your
House?
sister has testified
In front of the goddamn country.
as to her thoughts as it relates to her paternity.
It's taking a
I'd like to hear you
Yes,
explain
Your
to
Honor.
the court.
I love
Your Honor,
children. I love
growing
my
up,
women. I want to raise my
I
children.
heard all my life, especially from my older sister, that Lee wasn't my father. William was. And all my other family members that was there is telling me that Lee Banks is not my father and William Barkley is.
Now, your sister testified that she believes Lee Banks is her biological father
Yes.
because she has the sickle cell trait.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Banks passed away from the sickle cell disease. Do you have the trait as well?
No, Your Honor.
You do not.
I do not.
Have you been tested?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so the fact that you don't have the trait fuels your doubt even more.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you submitted a chart to the court. I want to review this. This is a chart that outlines sickle cell inheritance.
Yes. The father has the full sickle cell disease, and my mother is negative, and all the children will have it.
All of the children would have the trait.
That's not true.
Yes, yes.
That's not true.
That's what your research showed you.
Yes, yes.
This is very complex, and I really wanted to get more information on this because I think it's important as we look at paternity to understand these diseases which potentially pass down through generations. Because if this chart is correct, the man you always believe is your biological father, there would be no way that he is your biological father if this chart is correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
You didn't know my new social, right? It's got a 6 at the end.
I'd like to call on an expert, Dr. Witten Sherney, CEO and Medical Director at Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, Michigan chapter. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our litigant just testified. She then presented evidence, a chart that suggests that a parent with sickle cell disease who then has a child with a person who is normal will definitely carry the trait. Is that true?
That is true. A person who has sickle cell anemia, who has a child with someone who doesn't carry any sickle cell genes, every child would have to have sickle cell trait.
Gabby,
Yes, Your Honor.
hearing that affirms in your mind what you believe?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, it does.
And how about
I mix it up every now and again. She knows what I'm talking. She can please be permanently patched into it. How she does my job.
you, Danielle?
It does. What made me kind of hurt for my sister a little bit.
Dr. Sherney, is it possible that the child of someone who has sickle cell could not have the trait or the disease? Is there any way this could not be the case?
Well, there are two things that concern me. I have seen times when someone was told that they were tested negative for a sickle cell trait on that test called the hemoglobin solubility, and then when we do a more accurate test, or we have a test done by a more experienced lab technologist, we find out that the person really does have sickle cell trait. So that's one thing that concerns me. There's another thing that concerns me, and that is that many people don't know that there's more than one type of sickle cell disease. So the most common type is sickle cell anemia, where you get two sickle genes. But there's another type of sickle cell disease called sickle thalassemia. And in that case, the father would have a sickle gene and a thalassemia gene. So it's possible that a father could pass on the thalassemia gene to the baby, and the baby would have thalassemia trait rather than sickle cell trait.
All right. Well, his brother is actually in court.
Okay.
Sir, will you please stand
Yes,
and
ma'am.
step over to the podium?
Yes.
State your name.
Michael Banks, Your Honor.
Mr. Banks, you are the brother of Lee Banks.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if your brother had sickle cell anemia?
Yes, Your Honor. My brother had sickle cell anemia.
So, Dr. Sherney, if in fact Mr. Banks has sickle cell anemia, and Gabby has testified, and she is correct, that she does not have the trait, then that would preclude Mr. Banks from being her biological father. Is that correct?
That is correct, but I just wanted to make note of the number of ifs that you have when you're talking to me about it.
Yes. So, Dr. Sherney, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for answering our questions.
And thank you for having me. I'm always available to raise awareness about sickle cell disease.
Thank you.
And my phone rang. She told me her name was Gabrielle Barkley, and I'm looking for my father. My mouth just hit the floor.
Did you know she existed?
No.
My first reaction when I seen him, it was like, okay, I see some similarities like the eyelashes, you know, the nose a little bit, and the eyebrows. So it's like, I was really confused then because I also looked like my uncle on Lee's side. Growing up, I heard all my life, especially from my older sister, that Lee wasn't my father, William was. All my other family members that was there is telling me that Lee Banks is not my father, and William Barkley is.
My brother thought from his heart, his last words on his damn bed to me was to look out for his daughters. He thought they were his daughters, 100%, no doubt at all.
So after hearing the doctor's testimony, does that change your mind as to whether or not Gabby is truly your biological niece?
Yes, I have doubt now, but we did all we could for Danielle and Gabrielle.
Gabby, I can see this was hard for you to hear. What are you feeling?
What?
I just want to blow
What? Oh, fucking
I honestly don't know how to
You
feel.
fucking told me that?
I'm confused. I'm really confused.
Outseas.
Honestly.
You helped.
I'm really hurt because this could have been resolved years ago. I wouldn't have had to go my whole life listening to my sister and my other family members telling me who's my father and who's not my father.
So, Mr. Barkley, when did you reconnect with Gabby? When did you reconnect?
I was sitting home one night watching TV, and my phone rang. And I answered it. A voice on the phone said, "Are you William Barkley?" I said, I hesitated to get my name out. Then I said, yeah. She said, she told me her name is Gabrielle Barkley, and I'm looking for my father. And I said, huh? My mouth just hit the floor.
Because you knew that name because it was the name of your daughter.
I never met Gabby.
You never met Gabby.
I never met Gabby.
Did you know she existed?
No.
She knows who the fuck I am.
You didn't even know she was ever conceived or you weren't informed.
No.
Gabby was with us when we were at that boyfriend.
That's right.
When we were
I don't remember
me and my
her.
sister only a year apart.
You believe in
I
that, right?
don't remember her.
I don't see how that's possible.
I just have my fucking iPhone, you see?
You talked on the phone with him.
I'm a she. I'm a she. I just have my hands, man.
A month.
That's all the fuck I do. I'm at fucking home, legitimately. I'm fucking going
All
there.
my friends, when they see her, they say, that's
I'm
William
fucking
Barkley
going
right
there.
there. That's all they say. That's his daughter. She
I'm
looks
fucking
just like
YouTube.
him.
I think it's time for the results. Girl, the biological father is...
Do you believe a test will prove you are not the father? If so, call us toll-free at 855-TVDNA-23. That's toll-free, 855-883-6223.
Phone rang. She told me her name is Gabrielle Barkley, and I'm looking for my father. My mouth just hit the floor.
How long after that did you actually meet him?
Oh,
Tell me what happened.
We talked on the phone, and I let him know where I was going back to Virginia. Me and my wife, and we drove down there. My first reaction when I seen him, it was like, okay, I see some similarities like the eyelashes, you know, the nose a little bit, and the eyebrows. So it's like, I was really confused then because I also looked like my uncle on his side, on Lee's side. So it's like, I was confused, but we got along. Me and Barkley, we got along.
I don't use
And
social
we
media.
still get along, y'all. I don't like they mind. I do anything in the world for them young ladies. Anything.
And so tell me what happened, Mr. Barkley, when you first met
I
Gabby.
will put my ring back on because
I took her in the hope that just embraced her. Because I was
like a man of
stunned.
fucking spirit.
I'm
He was like,
glad to see
I
her.
love fucking blue.
Did you see similarities? Did your mind say, wow, this looks like me, or I don't think so?
It still does, Your Honor. Even when you show the picture of me when I was younger, it looks like her.
On this one, because no one believes
And
me
I
on
showed
this
her
one.
the picture when I first met her. I said, Gabby, I put it in my closet, got the picture, and showed it to her.
Exactly, man. And my woman told me.
And so you were excited.
Yes.
And you believe she looked like you.
Yes.
Thank you for understanding.
And you were happy to meet her and be reunited.
And be reunited. And all my friends, when they see her, they say, that's Wade's daughter right there. That's all. That's his daughter. She looks just like him.
Am I wrong? Color does not matter.
Wow.
You see my face again?
Listen, a lot of times in this courtroom, we think we can go on looks and similarities alone, and we've learned
You can't do it.
you cannot. What are your hopes for today, Danielle?
My hopes, honestly, is to just get closure and to find out the truth. And to hopefully find a place for me and my family to exist.
And how about you, Gabby? What are you feeling? What are you hoping for?
I just, like my sister said, I just want clarity as well. Because I'm confused. I don't know how to feel, honestly. I don't, because I've been so confused all my life. I don't know what to feel, how to feel, or anything. I just wish I was never lied to by my mother for so many years when everything just could have been straight out forward from the beginning. Yeah, because different, I mean, we went, like I said, we went through a lot. That foster thing was not a joke.
Woo, y'all breaking my heart. Ms. Barkley, after hearing the testimony today, you've heard your daughters speak so honestly.
Yes, ma'am.
About what they've been through, what they've had to endure. Has your testimony changed at all? Listen to them. You still believe Lee Banks is both.
I want to talk to people.
Daughters. He thought they were his daughters. 100%.
When you show the picture of me when I was younger, it looks like her.
In the case of Barkley versus Barkley, Barkley Beck.
Nope, that's my key,
The
right?
biological father is.
Yes, we got this, my
This has been
Cody.
a saga.
That's what you did on. Come right there on me. All of these. All of these. I plug it in. I'm in fucking
Mr. Barkley, you opened 2 cases.
Yes. I don't need to do anything.
And your second case relates to Gabby.
Yes.
Gabby, will you please stand? So your sister has testified as to her thoughts as it relates to her paternity.
I would turn off myself.
I'd like to hear you
Yes,
explain
Your
to
Honor.
the court.
You see?
Your Honor, growing up,
Now,
I
then you
heard
don't
all
see
my
it.
life, especially from my older sister,
Oh.
that Lee was not my father. William was.
So you do, right? Let me
And
out.
all my other family members that was there is telling me that Lee Banks is not my father and William
Now, if I turn
Barkley
it back
is.
on without the USB
Now,
key,
your
you will
sister
never see it. Is
testified
that right?
that she believes Lee
That's my
Banks
brain.
is her biological
Silver.
father
Yes.
because she has the
Yes,
sickle
right.
cell trait.
Yes, Your Honor.
And
Mama,
Mr.
she
Banks
was innocent.
passed
Everything was
away
fine. Yeah, while it's on.
from the sickle
Go
cell
through it.
disease.
Yes.
I'm that good.
Do
with
you have
technology.
the trait as well?
No, Your
You
Honor.
see, IT over 10 years experience.
You do not.
I do not.
Have you been tested?
Yes, Your Honor.
Annapolis.
And
High
so
School.
the fact that you
Annapolis Middle
don't
School.
have the trait
2012, I think. I
fuels your doubt even more.
watch me walk down
Yes,
the
Your
fucking
Honor.
aisle.
So you submitted a chart to the court.
I didn't care. I never
I
wanted
want
to.
to review this.
I did not. I did
This
not
is a
want to do
chart
I'm
that
supposed to
outlines
fucking
sickle
know.
cell
Grandma.
inheritance.
Yes. The father has the full sickle cell disease, and my mother is negative. And all the children
No, I didn't want to be that.
will
I
have
I
it.
told you don't want to fucking be
All of the
All
children
of
would
the
have the
did you tell me?
will
trait.
have the trait.
that. Go.
No, that's not true.
Yes,
That's
yes,
not true.
That's what your research showed you.
yes, yes.
I want you to
This
see it.
is
I don't
very
want- I don't want to-
complex.
I don't want to see it.
And
I don't
I
give a
really
fuck
wanted
what.
to
It's not what I
get
am.
more information
Exactly.
on this
I don't
because
give
I
a
think it's
fuck
important
about her.
as we look at
She's not my
paternity
grandmother.
to
She
understand
never fucking loved me.
these diseases
You
which
love me, my
potentially pass down through
Don't do that. Don't
generations.
cry, you.
Because
Never
if
see
this
my
chart
beside
is
my-
correct,
How much she never hugged me.
the
never told me
man
she was proud of
you
me.
always believe
Nothing.
is your biological
No,
father,
she didn't. She
there
never
would
hugged
be
me.
no
They
way
were
that he is
fucking
your
lying.
biological father
All they
if
did
this
was
chart
feed
is
me.
correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
All they did was fucking feed me.
I'd like to call on an expert, Dr. Witten Sherney, CEO and Medical Director at Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, Michigan chapter. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our litigant just testified. She then presented evidence, a chart that suggests that a parent with sickle cell disease who then has a child with a person who is normal will definitely carry the trait. Is that true?
That is true. A person who has sickle cell anemia, who has a child with someone who doesn't carry any sickle cell genes, every child would have to have sickle cell trait.
Gabby,
Yes, John.
hearing that affirms in your mind what you believe.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, it does.
Exactly, Grandma.
And how about you, Danielle?
It does. What made me kind of hurt for my sister a little bit.
She sat down and
Dr. Sherney,
once in my life.
is it possible that a child of someone who has sickle cell,
Cut that picture off.
Banks was my biological father.
and because you've been told your father had passed away?
Yes.
You just told me 2 years ago in front of these young ladies that they were my kids.
I grew up. I mean, if I had a father out there in the world, I felt like I could have been living a better life or had a better chance at life, me and my sister.
Coming up on Paternity Court.
All my other family members telling me that Reed Banks is not my father and William Barkley.
Grandma?
I'm confused.
See, that's a fucking woman
really
right there.
confused.
Helping support a fucking
My
child from
brother's
fucking home
last
for once in his fucking
on
life.
his damn
Are you
bed
proud
to
of me? They
was to look
saying
out for his
something
daughters.
that means something.
He thought they were his
Something that
daughters.
fucking means something to him.
100%.
When you show the picture of me when I was younger,
Not you,
it
bitch.
looks like her.
Jackie Copeland.
In the case
Fuck.
of Barkley versus Barkley, Barkley Banks, the biological father is. This has been a saga.
I don't ever fucking can't forget a fucking
Mr. Barkley,
face,
you
a
opened
voice.
2
So I put
cases,
them
Yes.
together.
and your second case
I'm a
relates
Rashid,
to
I'm a
Gabby.
computer.
Yes.
I'm a
Gabby,
Busha,
will you
I'm a
please
Amish,
stand?
Yeah, I'm a Shia. I don't listen to bullshit. I
So
turn my
your
head,
sister has
logic,
testified
emotion. Logic,
as to her thoughts
emotion. 2 sides of the brain,
as it
right?
relates to her
Exactly.
paternity.
Thank you, Hawking.
I'd like to hear you
Yes,
explain to the court.
There's only
Your
one
Honor,
other quantum
growing
computer
up,
on right
I
now.
heard all my life, especially from my older sister, that Lee wasn't my
I
father.
have access
William was.
to everything. Just
And
turned it off.
all my other family
That's
members
all.
that was there is telling me that
The hijack
Reed
line,
Banks
right?
is not my
Own it.
father and William Barkley is.
Yes, I'm giving you own it.
Now, your
Besides,
sister
what the fuck, Hawking?
testified
Not me.
that she believes
Yeah,
Lee
own it.
Banks
EU.
is her biological
Exactly.
father
Yes.
because she has the
Don't get me
sickle
paid,
cell
you know.
trait.
I ain't.
Yes, Your Honor.
And
I own
Mr.
the fucking
Banks
dope when I
passed
was-
away
I
from the
I
sickle
run-
cell disease.
I really want her to
Do you have the trait as
No, she don't
well?
have me.
No, Your Honor.
No. No.
You do
She is
not.
not fucking
I do
husband.
not.
Have you been
Do you know
tested?
Do you know how
Yes,
that
Your
fucking
Honor.
feels? Not to be hugged by
And
a fucking
so
woman.
the fact that you don't have the trait
I know.
fuels your
I'm a
doubt
lonely
even
man.
more.
I don't-
Yes, Your Honor.
So you submitted a
still
chart
the
to the
only
court.
Other man that's
I
fucking
want
causing
to
this
review
people.
this.
The man in that fucking court.
This is a chart that outlines sickle cell
That's it. I don't even talk about this. I'm
inheritance.
talking
Yes.
about-
The father has
Yeah,
the
you
full
wanna
sickle
come
cell
out like Emma?
disease,
Yeah.
and
See
my
what
mother
happens
is
when you-
negative.
full name.
And all the
262
children
number 220
will have it.
0596, man.
all of the
All
children would
that
have the
will have
trait.
the trait.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too.
That's not true.
Yes,
That's
yes.
not true.
That's what your research showed you.
Yes, yes.
This is
I just
very
wanna be a proud
complex.
fucking man. Now I feel happy.
And I really wanted to
My heart
get
is flooded. Look at my
more
heart is flooded.
information on this because I think it's important as we look at paternity to understand these
So that's so wrong.
diseases which potentially pass down through generations.
I never had sex with a woman.
Because if this chart
Because
is
I love
correct,
men.
the man you
love
always
myself.
believe is your biological
No,
father,
the moment I just
there would be no way that he is your biological father if this chart is
Because when I
correct.
don't
Yes,
want
Your
to,
Honor.
I'm just clearly on a fucking mission.
I'd like to call on an expert, Dr. Whitten Shurney, CEO and Medical Director at Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, Michigan chapter. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our litigant just testified. She then presented evidence, a chart that suggests that a parent with sickle cell disease who then has a child with a person who is normal will definitely carry the trait. Is that true?
That is true. A person who has sickle cell anemia, who has a child with someone who doesn't carry any sickle cell genes, every child would have to have sickle cell trait.
Gabby,
Yes, Your Honor.
hearing that affirms in your mind what you believe.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, it does.
And how about you, Danielle?
It does. What made me kind of hurt from my sister a little bit.
Dr. Shurney, is it possible that the child of someone who has sickle cell could not have the trait or the disease? Is there any way this could not be the case?
Well, there are two things that concern me. I have seen times when someone was told that they were tested negative for a sickle cell trait on that test called the hemoglobin solubility, and then when we do a more accurate test, or we have a test done by a more experienced lab technologist, we find out that the person really does have sickle cell trait. That's one thing that concerns me. There's another thing that concerns me, and that is that many people don't know that there's more than one type of sickle cell disease. So the most common type is sickle cell anemia, where you get two sickle genes. But there's another type of sickle cell disease called sickle thalassemia. And in that case, the father would have a sickle gene and a thalassemia gene. So it's possible that a father could pass on the thalassemia gene to the baby, and the baby would have thalassemia trait rather than sickle cell trait.
All right. Well, his brother is actually in court.
Okay.
Sir, will you please stand
Yes,
and
ma'am.
step over to the podium? State your name.
Michael Banks, Your Honor.
Mr. Banks, you are the brother of Lee Banks.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know if your brother had sickle cell anemia?
Yes, Your Honor. My brother had sickle cell anemia.
So, Dr. Shurney, if in fact Mr. Banks has sickle cell anemia, and Gabby has testified, and she is correct, that she does not have the trait,
For the United States.
Right.
then that would preclude Mr. Banks from being her biological father. Is that correct?
That is correct, but I just want to make note of the number of ifs that you have when you're talking to me about it.
Yes. So, Dr. Shurney, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for answering our questions.
And thank you for having me. I'm always available to raise awareness about sickle cell disease.
Thank you.
And my phone rang. She told me her name is Gabrielle Barker, and I'm looking for my father. My mouth just hit the floor.
Did you know she existed?
My first reaction when I seen him, it was like, okay, I see some similarities, like the eyelashes, you know, the nose a little bit, and the eyebrows. So it's like, I was really confused then, because I also looked like my uncle on Lee's side. Growing up, I heard all my life, especially from my older sister, that Lee was my father, William was. All my other family members that was there is telling me that Lee Banks is not my father, and William Barkley is.
My brother thought
My bad.
from his heart, his last words on his damn bed to me was to look out for his daughters. He thought they were his daughters. 100%. No doubt at all.
So after hearing the doctor's testimony, does that change your mind as to whether or not Gabby is truly your biological niece?
Yes, I have doubt now, but we did all we could for Danielle and Gabrielle.
Gabby, I can see this was hard for you to hear. What are you feeling, hon?
I just want to
Shit, what the fuck,
I
man?
really don't know how to feel. I'm confused. I'm really confused. Honestly. I'm really hurt because This could have been resolved years ago. I wouldn't have had to go my whole life listening to my sister and my other family members telling me who's my father and who's not my father.
So, Mr. Barkley, when did you reconnect with Gabby? When did you reconnect?
I was sitting home one night watching TV, and my phone rang. And I answered it. A voice on the phone said, "Are you William Barkley?" I said, I hesitated to get my name out, then I said yes. She said, she told me her name is Gabrielle Barkley, and I'm looking for my father. And I said, my mouth just hit the floor.
Because you knew that name because it was the name of your daughter.
I never met Gabby.
You never met Gabby?
I never met Gabby.
Did you know she existed?
No.
I'm just fucking with you.
You didn't even know she was ever conceived, or I mean, you weren't informed.
Gabby was with us when we were at that boyfriend. When we were
I don't remember
Me
her.
and my sister only a year apart. We're hardly a year apart.
I don't remember her.
I don't see how that's not possible.
So, Gabby, after you talked on the phone with him, how long after that did you actually meet him?
A month.
Tell me what happened.
And all my friends, when they see her, they say, that's William's daughter right there. That's all they say, this is his daughter. She looks just like him.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome? The biological father
Do you believe a test will prove you are not the father? If so, call us toll-free at 855-TV-DNA-23. That's toll-free, 855-883-6223.
Phone rang. She told me her name is Gabrielle Barkley, and I'm looking for my father. My mouth just hit the floor.
How long after that did you actually meet him?
A month.
Tell me what happened.
We talked on the phone, and I let him know where I was coming back to Virginia. Me and my wife, and we drove down there. My first reaction when I seen
At that point, in his mind, you pretty much admitted that there's another possibility.
Like, this is a sexual remark for real, and I know for a fact I'm not the one that left it on. The day he was born, like, she told me before I signed the birth certificate with a smirk on her face, like, yeah, you sure you want to sign that without getting the DNA?
I did not. I said,
yeah, she did.
That's not what you want to hear in the delivery room.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, why did you sign it if you have all this doubt?
I still don't know my real dad for real, and it's like, it's kind of hard, because it's like, he's something innocent, like,
We understand, honey. That's why we do this. Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Sand versus Hundley.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Sand, you opened your case today in hopes of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say the only reason he is denying your 4-month-old son, Jade, is because he's an insecure man. If the defendant doesn't change his ways after you prove he is the father, then the relationship is over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunley, you say the plaintiff is sneaky, a cheat, and cannot be trusted, and you have serious doubt you are her son's biological father. Is that correct? So, Miss Sand, it sounds like there's a lot on the line today. Explain that to the court.
Yes, Your Honor. Everything is actually on the line. I'm tired of being accused of cheating. I'm tired of him saying that it's not my son. I'm tired of just everything.
So this is really impacting your relationship.
It is.
What is it like in your home right now?
We fight probably like 3-4 times every week out of the week.
Constant fighting.
Constantly.
So all because of this paternity secret.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm sorry, but it's just really emotional on me, and I'm not really a talker for real.
You don't have to apologize.
But
this paternity doubt, the relationship, it really is bothering you that your home is in this much turmoil.
It does.
But he causes this, Your Honor.
I wouldn't say that.
You do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I'll call certain things. I'll say that, but it's not all on me. Like, it's definitely not.
And so This paternity secret, does it come up in these arguments?
It does, constantly.
This is what we see. This is what paternity secrets do to relationships. Somehow they're woven in every argument, every dysfunction, everything. You could be arguing about who paid the light bill, and the next thing you know that baby ain't mine either. That's what happens.
Well, it all started with a text message, Your Honor. I had lied to him about a message that he had seen on my phone. He took a picture of the message in my phone, and he had came downstairs and asked me about it, and I lied to him. I said, no, I was not talking to so-and-so.
To be clear, before then you were in a committed relationship.
Yes, ma'am. We were together about a month at this point, and we had casual conversation before Jada and I had got together.
Fuck you, nigga.
And then I sent him a message, and what made him mad was I said something in the message about solo dolo. And
I'm the same person.
What is solo dolo?
Single. Basically, you're single.
So the man asked about your relationship status, and you told him you were single.
Yes.
But you were really in a relationship with Mr. Hunley.
Yes.
We talked about that situation. Like, when it happened, we got another grown man, grown woman, we talked the situation out. But then we got new phones after this. She got a message from the same number.
It was not the same number.
It was the same number.
All right, Dave.
Even the same person.
Say it's not.
It wasn't even the same person.
It was the same number. I had
No,
the
it was
screenshots.
not.
I pulled up the screenshot, same thing. I'm looking at the screenshot and then her phone. It's the same number.
No, it wasn't even the same
So
person.
you're saying, Mr. Hunley, you all got new phones,
New phone.
but the same old guy is still called
New number. And I asked her about it. I was like, so, like, how did you get your number? Now you got a new phone. She talking about, I don't know. That's her excuse to me. She don't know how you got a new phone.
Was it the same guy? Was it the same guy, Miss Sand?
No, it was not,
Speaking
Your
again?
Honor. No, it's not, Your Honor.
So why was it the same number?
It wasn't the same number,
Who
Your Honor.
was it then?
It was somebody that I used to hang out with before Jade and I.
A man?
Yes, ma'am.
How did he get the new phone?
It wasn't a new phone. It was a new phone, but it was not a new number. No, it was not,
We got
Jade.
the phone both switched because of the.
No, we did not.
We definitely did.
No, we did not.
You say the number was the same, but it was just a new phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, what's the next time? Is there another instance where you felt like she was cheating?
I want to say, yeah, because after, there's a few situations, man. I actually got evidence if you want.
I would like to see it.
All right.
You can step over to your exhibit.
All right. So this is New Year's, right? And I want to say we was playing beer pong. We was enjoying ourselves, like having a good time. Like we've been. She's telling me she's going to bed. Like, and I'm like, okay, but I'm still playing beer pong, so I'm gonna stay down there for a little minute. So I did that. She went upstairs. I'm thinking she upstairs asleep. So I'm like, all right. So then I go upstairs after I'm done playing. I'll tell everybody I am going to bed. I go upstairs, going to bed, ain't nobody there. I woke up the next morning and she laying next to me. See, I thought that was a little weird for real. Like, so I'm like, okay, we sitting there talking and dressing. I think she had like shorts or something on. And then I seen a bruise like on her upper thigh.
And that's wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
No.
It's not wrong.
Your Honor, we woke up the next morning.
Hold on. Let me finish this. I'm gonna give you a chance to respond.
She had a mark on her upper thigh, like right there, and bruise. I left bruises on her before in situations like that, but I know for a fact I didn't leave this mark on her. Like, this is a sexual mark for real, and I know for a fact I'm not the one that left it on her.
So it's a mark.
It was a mark.
Is that about the size of it, an accurate size in terms of the proportion to? I've left a similar bruise in that area when we were intimate. Was she intimate with somebody else that night?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know 100% I didn't sleep with anyone.
First off, and your ex be coming over there.
No, he don't.
Yeah,
No, they all have, no.
Ex coming, her ex come over there a lot.
No, he does not. He came over there a couple times.
So, all right. So after these incidents, soon after this, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you find out, take me to that moment. Do you tell Mr. Hunley?
I do. I just had a feeling. Well, let me start with this. We were outside and Jada told me, I know you don't want to take the pill, and if you don't want to take it, you don't have to. And I said, are you sure? Because at this point, he knew I had been talking about a baby. He knew I wanted a baby. And are you sure?
Right, in our current situation.
So I just started feeling some type of way, and I told him, like, I think I'm pregnant. He was like, no, said, that's fine, I'll make an appointment for in the morning. Found out I was pregnant, I showed him the papers, and then all of a sudden, like, it just wasn't his baby. Like, it had to be somebody else's baby.
So, Mr. Hunley, you remember this time Miss Sam told you she
Yes, ma'am.
was fine.
I didn't believe it. The reason I didn't believe it, though, is because all things that happened prior, so I honestly didn't believe I was the only one she was with, so I definitely couldn't have been the only father in that situation.
So as soon as she told you, even though you all were in a relationship, your immediate thought was, I'm not the only one she's with, so I have doubts.
Yeah, right off. When like, yeah, she told me.
We ain't got told you.
She told me I'm not.
Why did you sign it if you have all this?
It just wasn't his baby.
He told you.
He basically like accused me of cheating. He told me I'm already depressed from being broke.
Honestly,
I already like just felt emotional in some type of way about it, and I had said something out of anger. Yes.
What did she say?
She talking about she said something about leaving. Cause I said I was about to leave. She told me, all right, that's cool, leave. She's like, you with your dad anyway? I'm about to leave too. Like, I'm like, what you mean? Like, and then that's when we got into a whole big situation right there too. Like, it's crazy. That's just the first case.
So when Jade was born, were you there?
From the beginning of the pregnancy, everywhere till today. Like, so I was there and involved.
You were there, but you were not involved. He was not involved like he should have been. I felt like he should have been.
She know the things that she know why in it, but I was day one.
Yes, you have been there from day one. I mean, you were not rubbing my. You know,
there was not the emotional connection.
There was not at all.
It's not, but that's also like on when he was the day he was born. Like she told me before I signed the birth certificate with a smirk on her face, talking about she's like, yeah, you sure you want to sign that without getting the DNA test?
I did not. I said.
Yeah. She did, like, yes, it is.
That's not what you want to hear in the delivery room.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying.
He had kept making comments throughout my whole pregnancy, and I told him, I did. I said, before you sign his birth certificate, you should probably get your DNA test before, because I wanted to name him something else. He insisted on him being Jade the Second, and it just kind of went from there, and it hurt my feelings after hearing that for 9 months that you think he's not yours.
So you're saying you were just saying that as a dig, like you might want to get your DNA test since you've been denying that he's yours.
Exactly.
But you understand that that is not what a man is ever gonna hear.
I want to fucking go, people.
At that point, in his mind, you pretty much admitted that there's another possibility.
Next is finished. Keep me connected, please.
Well.
So,
Sophie's eating into his sandwich, and her meeting just got moved up to now. So she tries new Listerine Ready tabs. She's chewing that tiny tab, which turns into a swish of liquid. She's swishing away, which feels a little like what? Unleash the clean feel of Listerine anytime, anywhere. Sophie girl, you are ready. Introducing new Listerine Ready tab.
Motherfucker, when is that? Watch TV, 2 bitches and big shots.
So, Hunley, did you sign the birth certificate?
I signed it. I definitely did because I wanted to.
So why did you sign it if you have all this doubt?
Because I mean, I kind of grew up in the same similar situation. When I was 18, I found out the dad for real, like, for real. I'm sorry, Mom.
You just did not want the same for that little boy.
I guess so.
I apologize, Your Honor.
You don't have to apologize. You don't ever have to apologize for speaking your truth and honoring a child in this courtroom. That's why we do this.
I love you too.
You don't have to apologize.
Man, but it was just something like, because I didn't even know how much of a toll it took on me for real. Like, I still don't know my real dad for real. And it's like, it's kind of hard because it's like a piece of me missing. Like,
we understand, honey. That's why we do this.
I can't even explain it for real, man. I just know that I don't want to go through that same situation.
Yeah.
It's just
You want to break a cycle.
definitely do, yes.
And if in fact he is your child, you want to be able to say to them, you were there from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've built a bond, I see.
Yes, ma'am.
A beautiful bond.
Definitely do. That's my man. That's my little man right there, man.
That's it.
Man, that's. But I feel like it's. I don't even know, man.
But you feel like on one hand you look at him and you see the beautiful bond you're building.
Yes,
But in the next thought,
it just hurts. I don't know for sure. Like, it's like I gotta be sure for real.
Oh, that's Chris's place. I'm about
and you don't want
Noah.
him to have to wait 18 years to get the truth like you did.
Nah, but you get shit, right? I knew, right?
Definitely don't.
So, Mr. Huntley, what if biological son? Where?
After that, it's hard for real. Like,
I know, right?
I don't even know.
Only knows understand fucking knows.
Who do you think his father is?
See? I see that.